Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Can we take a seat and get this show on the road? And it is a show. And I'm sorry I didn't do my warm-up by sprawling myself on the floor, but there's always next year. Hi, my name's Bill Lamont. I assume you know yours. As I said, I hope you weren't expecting a performance like the one I put on last year. But Robin Kuhn and Don Jordan said that I had to stay on my feet today, so I'll try that. Anyhow, welcome to the third annual edition of the official buy local Onondaga grown media campaign. You'll be hearing from some of the people who have made this program a slam dunk success. Folks who've taken the seed of an idea and grown it into an important environmental and marketing factor. That's what farm people do. They grow things, whether they're crops or ideas. You'll be hearing from County Legislator Dave Knapp. Dave represents most of the southern area of the county, and it's an area approximately the size of Montana. He's co-chairman of our Ad Council, along with Fabius Farmer, Harvey Skeel, Kevin King from the New York State Ag and Markets, and Cornell's Cooperative Extension guy, Dave Skivel, are also with us. And finally, we'll be hearing from our county executive, the creator of the Ag Council and the Buy Local Onondaga Grown campaign. It was a great idea, and she keeps pushing it, and we keep pulling, and I think we got something going pretty good that's going to last for a long, long time. These are good people. They're smart, innovative, dedicated, and these are the people who make up our Ag Council. As soon as we're finished with our remarks, we'll be having some ice cream and strawberries, courtesy of Reeves Farms and Burn Dairy. And I don't think it's going to be a long program. I think we'll have you home by dark. Seeing it's the longest day of the year. Thanks. Now Dave Knapp is going to say a few things about what it's like in southern Montana. Thanks.
Thanks, Bill. You know, it's tough to match Bill's dedication. He actually bled for the local grown campaign and the Ag Council last year. So I don't see the ambulance, and I don't hear any sirens yet, so I think we're in good shape. But a few thank yous real quick before I get started. First off, once again, Reeves Farm and Brian Reeves. I don't see Brian right now. I'm sure he's, with the weather we've had, trying to get plants in the ground and things moving there. But they always do a great job for us, and we really appreciate their help. Don Jordan, who's our acting Commissioner of Planning, and Robin Kuhn, who really oversee the Ag Council and help us out on a day-to-day basis and do a wonderful job, really dedicated to it. Of course, iHeartMedia, who are helping us out with the campaign and in many other ways. And of course, Bill, who's really, this was his brainchild, the Buy Local campaign, and so want to thank him as well. This is our third year of doing the campaign, and it grows every year. We've already got some ads up on, I've heard on the radio already, talking about berries, and I'm definitely looking forward to having my first strawberries of the season here in a few minutes, so I'm going to keep moving along. But we estimate over 35,000 people were reached just through the social media campaign not to mention the other campaigns. And we have nearly 100 farms, grocers, and restaurants participating in the campaign, which means they label their products, they participate, and the banner's up for Onondaga Grown and the whole 9 yards. And so it's growing every year and continues to keep going. I wanted to talk just a brief minute about the Ag Council itself. This was, it's great to have the county executive here because this was her idea. This was her brainchild that she asked me to be part of it, and I'm very, very thankful for that, given that, my Montana district has a lot of agriculture in it. But this is the 5th year of the Ag Council, and we've really been able to do some great things. I just wanted to highlight a few things that, funding-wise, that we've been able to accomplish. The 4-H program, we've been able to help Cooperative Extension expand that. Last Friday, Ryan McMahon, the chairman of the legislature, and myself were at Martin Luther King School planting a garden where this was one of our first projects that we funded with just a few $1,000s with raised beds and new soil, and the kids out there were having a great time learning about where their food comes from and planting, and it was a really great event. And so we funded that. Of course, the Buy Local campaign. Our last Future Farmers of America chapter, which is down at the Tully School District, we were able to get them some money for welding equipment to expand their welding program. We've been able to help the Soil and Water Conservation District with some of the great things that they're doing. We have Dr. and I always kill his name, but I know he's here. Pottinger? Yeah, Pottinger from ESF. And I apologize, I always have a problem with his name, but he's working with ESF and Syracuse University developing a food plan for our county and looking at some of the food deserts we have both in the city and out in the countryside. A few others. Brady Faith Center, which is a 6-acre farm in the heart of Syracuse, they're doing wonderful things down there, and that's one of the ones I'm really excited about, continuing to grow. We helped with just a few dollars, but made possible the Food Justice Symposium this past year, and of course we'll help out with Ag Literacy Week in the schools. So those are just a few of the many things we do that I just wanted to highlight, and we're looking forward to continue on as we go. One other person I'd like to mention just walked in. Mr. Emmy in the back was our Conservation Farm of the Year last year for Emmy Farms, and he was also one of the sites of our On-Farm Fest, and that's the other thing I just wanted to mention real quick. Last year was the first year of our On-Farm Fest. We had 7 farms, over 1,500 visitors. Again, this was the first year that we did this, and we really emphasize education, family, and a nice get-together, and some of the comments we got back from the surveys that we handed out were really positive about what a nice family day it was. Some of the top words were educational, informative, fun, kid-friendly, awesome, and beautiful. And we had farms in all over the county, so every area was represented, and a lot of folks made just about the whole circuit, so it was great. This year's will be on September 9th, and we'll be doing a lot more advertising for that as the summer goes along, and we'll be just about ready to announce the farms for this year. A lot of the same farms are coming back, so that's great. So with that, again, I'm really happy that the county executive was going to be able to make it today. 2 years ago, she was on her way up, and we had the bomb scare at the county office building, and so when the second one came in, she had to turn around and head back. So we figured that was an authorized absence for her. But no, we're excited to have her because, like I said, this was her idea, and we've really been able to do some nice things with it. So with that, I will turn it over to our county executive, Joanie Mahoney.
my absolute favorite. Growing up, my mother made strawberry shortcake for my birthday, so I'm very excited this time of year, and we'll be eating strawberries nonstop until you close the fields back down in mid-July. But this is one of the events I'm most proud of, and it is good for a lot of reasons. I'd like to echo what Legislator Knapp said. You know, we couldn't do it without the people whose names you see on the banners behind us. We have a great media partner in iHeart Media, thank you very much, and getting the word out to people. But the agriculture industry is a $300 million industry in Onondaga County. So it is among the most important things that we do and we should focus on and make sure, no pun intended, that we continue to grow and that we support the industry the best we can. And we created this Agriculture Council, and Harvey Skeel, who's here somewhere, and oh, right there, and Dave Knapp co-chair that, and as Dave just went through some of the great projects that are funded through that, and that's kind of the model that I think works. It's not me saying what agriculture needs in Onondaga County. It's people that know the agriculture business in Onondaga County that take a dedicated fund and then they dole it out. And it has worked better than this centralized, you know, once a year going through the county budget process. I want to tell you, though, why this is one of the events I'm most proud of. In 2007, just about 10 years ago, I was at the Lafayette Apple Festival, so it was the fall, right, Dave Knapp's, and Dave was not yet on the legislature, but I was making my way through the county looking for support because I wanted to be county executive. So I went to the Apple Festival where everyone goes, and so I needed to go to the Apple Fest if I wanted to campaign that weekend. And the Farm Bureau had a tent, and I made my way back to the Farm Bureau tent. Dave Knapp was very kind and brought me in, and the group of people from the Farm Bureau formed a half circle, and I stood there in the middle of the circle, and it felt probably what it would feel like for an alien to have been dropped from Mars and standing there in front of this group, because I had just run against a farmer. And the farmer is the person, I'm imagining the Farm Bureau would want to be county executive because the farmer knows what the agriculture community needs. And Harvey was very professional and kind, and Dave was very professional and kind, but there was a real arm's distance between me and the Farm Bureau. And I thought right then that were I to be honored enough to have this job, I'm gonna make sure that the people that are here today are happy with the job that I'm doing. And so to have an event where Dave Knapp and Harvey Skeel are saying that they're happy with the performance of this government is really personally very gratifying to me. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. If you represent Onondaga County, the agriculture business is the business that you need to focus on. But in addition to that, I wanted people to know that were they to put their confidence in me, that I would put the right people in place and that we would do the right things here in the county. So coming to an event like this is just wonderful for a lot of reasons. A lot of people made it possible. I know New York State is represented here. Thank you very much. Cornell Cooperative Extension. It's everybody. But just standing back and making it possible and watching it grow has been really gratifying. And I thank you all for everything you've done to make this the success that it is. Before I go, I just want to say a personal thank you to Bill Lamont. Bill has been doing buy local since before it was the trendy thing to do, and thankfully it is now the trendy thing to do. But I said he's a visionary because since 1990 he has been encouraging us to buy local, now buy Onondaga grown. I've had the pleasure of doing the cart starts here with Bill, but you know, it's people like Bill that make this the kind of community that it is. You know, private citizens who roll up their sleeves and do the work, and we owe a lot to Bill for bringing this to our attention and making all of this possible. So a special thank you to Bill, and thank you to all of you for all the work you're doing.
I I was trying to figure out how I was going to get a cheap, shameless plug for the Lafayette Apple Festival, held every year on Columbus Day weekend. So thank you, Joanie, for helping me out there. One thing I did forget to mention about our On-Farm Fest, the iHeart folks really pulled off a coup last year and got us 3-time Grammy Award winner Tom Chapin to come up, and he spent the whole day here going around to the various farms, actually doing some little, I guess for lack of a better word, jam sessions with some of the local musicians who we had out at the various farms, and then he did a great concert for us out at Greenwood Winery for our little wrap-up that we had, and he was so excited about the day and what we're doing up here that he has offered to come back again for this year. So we're going to have Tom Chapin back. And again, for those of you who saw him at the winery, he really was a lot of fun. So looking forward to have that, and I really didn't want to be remiss about that. And then the other quick thing, we're up here in the first legislative district, and we have legislator Brian May here, who's for this area, a great friend to agriculture as well, and he sits on our farmland preservation board that's actually chaired by Brian Reeves, and they do a really, really important job in helping preserve farmland and go through the development rights program that the state has, and it's a lot of work, but they do a great job. So I just want to make sure I highlighted Brian May's attendance. So next we have our legislature chairman, Ryan McMahon. The county executive again created this, but the legislature to fund this program has to be on board, and Ryan's been a great friend to agriculture, and so Ryan?
David and Bill and Harvey and the county executive and all of you for being here. This is a great event, and Dave is very detailed, as you can tell, and he's been stealing everybody's talking points. So let me just rehash some of the important things, but obviously today the kickoff of Onondaga Grown is about much more than economic development. It's about promoting our way of life in upstate New York, in Onondaga County, teaching others that don't understand what the agricultural economy is and the agricultural community, the values that it brings to the table. And David mentioned that just last week, he and I were at Martin Luther King School in the city of Syracuse on the south side. And being a city kid who's learned a lot about agriculture over the last 6 years from Brian May and David Knapp and very smart people like David Skevel and Harvey Skeel, it was very nice to see that these kids who have so many challenges before them could really learn a lot in such a small little area, just a small little garden. And those are life lessons that hopefully will carry on with them. And that's really what this whole Onondaga Grown effort is. It's about getting the word out about how special this segment of our economy is, about how large it is, the 10th largest ag economy in New York State, the top 20% of the counties in the USA. The county executive talked about over a $300 million economic impact. So we're educating the public. We're educating a lot of our young people that don't ever have an opportunity to get out to a farm like this. And we're trying to create commerce and trying to support our farmers, our local businesses that really buy our products and continue that commerce goes on, so that we hopefully are a little bit higher next year in New York State. Maybe we can get to number 9, and so on and so on. So this is a great event. Thank you, everybody who does this. You make our food. We need you. You do a great job, and I just am very happy to be involved and very happy to be supportive. So thank you very much.
One of the nice things about talking first is, you pick the talking points you want to use. So anyway, next we have a great partner of the Ag Council and of agriculture in our county. Dave Skevel is Chairman, President. Okay, yeah, Grand Poobah of Cornell Cooperative Extension for our county. I grew up with Dave, although he was several years ahead of me in high school, but he's a Lafayette alum. I was actually went with his little brother was a alum of mine, and you know, again, they've been a great partner both on the Buy Local campaign, just from an education standpoint, the 4-H program, and particularly with the On-Farm Fest last year, helping to coordinate the farms and man the operation. So with that, Dave.
So I'm going to be really brief because I realize standing here right now, I'm in a very precarious position like the rest of the speakers. I'm standing between dessert and David Knapp, so I'm going to move it right along. So one of the things when you're looking at doing ag programming in a county, and we really are in a unique position, is to take stock of actually our blessings or our assets that we have. And there's some reasons that ag is so great in Onondaga County, and there's some things that just are irreplaceable. And a couple of those things is we have really large aggregations of great soil to support dairy and vegetable farming. And I know the Reeves, they don't want to take a plow out into a 2-acre field that is very inefficient. So taking stock of the fact that we've been blessed with all these great aggregations of soil, and about the only way we can screw that up is putting housing developments and strip malls out in the middle of that. So we really have to take stock of that blessing. So the other things we have, and it may not be obvious to everybody, we have a favorable climate, we have lots of water, maybe a little bit too much this spring. We have a great highway system. And like the realtors are fond of saying, location, location, location. We're the crossroads of New York. A lot of things gather here. It's easy for us to transport things out. And one of the great things we actually have in Onondaga County, because we are the crossroads, is actually the New York State Fairground, which is the largest agriculture fair in New York State every year. And learning to take advantage of those assets and making sure that we're not ruining them in the process is an important thing to be thinking about as we go forth with our programming. And of course, one of the assets that also creates a challenge is we have a great aggregation of consumers residing in the heart of this county, so we have ready access to markets for our farmers. And with this does come a challenge, because as folks move out and they butt up against farmland, people sometimes create tensions between the farmers, the farming practice, and their residential use. And that's a big part of the reason for doing the work that the Ag Council is doing with this campaign and the farm tour, is to try to bridge that relationship and build a sense of stewardship between the consumers and those that produce food for them. And that's why I'm so enthralled with the support that you've given this, and it really addresses that problem. And last but not least, one of the great assets we actually have in this county are the people. We have a number of agencies and folks here, and the only thing that makes an agency worthwhile are the people that are actually in it. So a great organization's Farm Bureau. We are part of the South Central Dairy Field Crops team, and Janice Stegny, who leads that team, is here with us today. Our friends at Soil and Water, our friends down at the USDA, and of course I can't believe how lucky I got to take on this job with the elected officials that we have right now. The fact that the county executive and the legislature have joined together with this effort, you know, how lucky can a guy get? So let's just not screw it up. Thank you.
I did want to acknowledge there's several of the board members of Cooperative Extension here too. So red shirts, I know at least all of them. So thank you for coming out. Dave, will you go introduce Mr. King?
Speaking of screwing it up.
Got off to a good start. So I want to introduce to you Mr. Kevin King. Drove all the way from Albany here, and Kevin is now the Deputy Commissioner of New York State Ags and Market, and he had just moved over from the position that is very apropos to our efforts here. He was Director of Ag Development for New York State Ags and Market. Kevin's actually an old college mate of mine. I know I'm going to owe him a couple favors, probably out at the fairgrounds after this, but I really appreciate him being here, and he's going to talk about the relationship between New York State programs and what we're trying to do in the county. So, Kevin King.
Thanks, Dave. And yes, you just gave it away. Dave, I'm older than you when we graduated from college together.
Yeah, so much, yeah.
Well, you've got the hair to prove it, I don't, so. But it's a pleasure to be with you today on behalf of Commissioner Ball and our 36,000 farms in the state of New York, our family farms in the state of New York. Let me just say, you have tremendous leadership here in Onondaga County and Onondaga government, from Dave Knapp and Legislator Ryan McMahon, to County Exec Joanie Mahoney. We, at the state level, very much respect the government of Onondaga County. It is one of our top 10 agricultural counties in the state. It is a leading producer of agricultural products. The vision exists to have a program such as this is tremendous, and the leadership to get you to that point is fantastic. Let me talk about the leadership on the state level and Governor Cuomo's creation of Taste New York, a similar initiative and one that I think we are going to find a lot in common here, and I think we need to start looking at ways to leverage both of these initiatives. But we have a little Taste New York program at the state level that very similar to what's being done here in Onondaga County, with a similar $1.1 million investment. It has generated over $13 million in gross sales for our local agricultural producers around the state, through events, through venues and platforms. Maybe you've seen some of them as you travel the Thruway. And we invite you to stop in and taste what's best of New York, and the many fine products that we produce here. And it's a delight to see the many Burned Dairy, Gianelli Sausage. Some of the folks that participate in that program are active here in your program as well. Let me just say as well that your host today, the Reeves Farm, again, the leadership that comes from Onondaga County is there in agriculture as well. I know some of the Reeves family members are here. Brian Reeves represents you very well. I suspect Brian is making hay while the sun shines today. I hope he's out in the fields. We've had such wet weather lately, and I know there's few opportunities. But please tell Brian we miss him. We appreciate the leadership that he provides at the state level as well, and his activities representing farms and agriculture in New York State. So it's a delight to be here. We look forward to continuing to work with Onondaga County to promote our local agriculture. And I think there's lots of room for many good things that will come out of this, and look forward to continuing to work with the county and this particular initiative. So thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks for coming all the way over. Next and the last official speaker is my co-chair on the Ag Council, Harvey Skeel, who again is a great resource. Has been doing this for a while, and if you're ever down in Fabius, you want to see a beautiful dairy farm, just go on Raleigh Jerome Road, and you'll see the Skeel Farm, and it's absolutely immaculate. And Harvey just wanted to say a few words.
Thanks, David, for that great introduction. Can everybody hear me? Thanks for being here. Thanks to the Reeves family again. I think Dave covered all the thank yous. There is one other person that I'd like to recognize, and that's Justin Sales. He was one of the original people that we talked with when we were thinking about the council. And with his cooperation, we got things started. Of course, Joanie, without her, we wouldn't be here today. I didn't take a seat because we had so many great dignitaries here that I didn't think there was going to be room. And I said, I'll sit back here for a while. But I'm here to share some facts with you about dairy in our county. Of all 62 counties, where do you think Onondaga ranks in dairy farming? The county itself. There's 62 counties. Any guesses? I don't hear any. We're ranked 7th for dairy production. Dairy is a strong part of Central New York economy, and I'm proud to be part of it. I had a great partnership with my dad and myself as a dairy farmer for 60 years with my dad, my mom, of course. There were 6 siblings, but I was the one that wanted to stay on the farm, and that's why I'm here. It's really a miracle when you think about land best suited for growing grass, alfalfa, corn, and other crops to feed these animals. which we can't eat, but it's converted to wonderful foods. Yogurt, milk, cheese, and ice cream. We've got that for you here today. We have Burn Dairy right here in our county with us, and they've won several awards for quality dairy products. And they've been great. There's other great people in the state. How many cows do you think we have in Onondaga County only? I'll wait for a guess.
10,000.
I don't hear one.
Around 20,000.
How much?
20,000.
I didn't catch all that.
20,000, she said.
How about 25? About 25,000. There's another 15 to 18,000 in replacement animals. So there's a lot of mouths to feed out there. And farmers, like you said about Brian, I did talk to Brian earlier, and he said he was busy. So we got set up, and I understand that. He's been a great asset to Farm Bureau, great asset to the council, with all the other people involved. It's been great. Some farms are organic, some farms are conventional. We even have robots in the county now. If you've never seen a cow get milked by herself, check out the open farms. We may have some robots again this year. But it's amazing to me about the robots. I had a neighbor that went to Europe to see these robots 15 years ago. He come home and didn't buy any, but there are several in the state now, and there's 2 or 3 farms in our county and another one possibly putting in robots. So if you get a chance to go see the robots work, do it. These farms have an economic impact of $230 million a year, just in our county. I'd like to thank the council and everybody involved for the support of dairy. And June is National Dairy Month, for those of you who don't know it. Not just County Dairy Month, but National Dairy Month. And I need to add that our state princess is from this county, and that's probably the 6th or 7th one that I can remember holding that title. So we've got a lot of great dairy people here in our county. I think that kind of wraps up what I was going to say. Bill, you got some closing words?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for coming, everybody. It's ice cream time, courtesy of Reeves Farm and Burn Dairy, which is mighty fine. I also want to thank the folks who brought their trucks in today. Why do we do that? To kind of visually show the scope and the diversity of the foods that we have in this wonderful county of ours. But it's ice cream time, strawberry time. Let's go get them.